One of the best ways to kind of approach results day is looking at how a given destination or system, US, UK, continental, European, Swiss, um, approaches results, right? So if we use the UK, for example, to start with here, it's done through the application system, as we surely know, is done through the application process, excuse me, is done through a centralized system. In turn, universities get back to students with, in most cases here, conditional offers, right? They've yet to finish the IB in this case. So let's say Oxford is going to say, hey, congrats, yes, you could come to read history on, the condition that you get a 41 overall with 766, for example, at higher level. Okay, great. Now, flash forward to results day, right? And what ultimately will Oxford in particular say if you're a few points shy? So we'll touch upon that. Within the UK system, of course, I added here a column for flexibility level. I generally called it a medium sort of to probably high. I would also add here a medium to, sorry, low level of flexibility. I used Oxford to start with because they will be probably the most strict when it comes time to determining whether or not they should accept you if, say, you were to fail, right, to meet their conditions. But Oxford is just one university among many. And so Oxford's internal policy to failing to meet a condition, right, could vary, could be grossly different, for example, to what, say, even UCL or KCL down the road in London, right, have to say in the case of a student failing to meet their conditions here. Okay. So it's worth very much bearing that in mind when we go into results day, that especially with regard to the UK here, and maybe no one's going to like me saying this, things on the whole are definitely going to be especially strict. However, we cannot say with absolute certainty here that every university employs the same policy with reference, right, to the conditions either being met or having failed to be met here. What we do in turn, right, once results are released and we are in negotiation or discussion is probably the better word here with a UK university, well, again, we'll also get to that. There is maybe some wiggle room here, some leeway, okay? Even with, say, your firm or your first choice, excuse me, during this window, this gap, maybe is the better word here, of time between when IB results come out on July 6th, right? And when A-level results come out in mid-August, right? Now, for some people, that might be an especially nerve-wracking time, but it does at the very minimum give you actually a few weeks to explore perhaps what your options might be as maybe a UK university is considering whether or not to accept a student, say in the case that they failed to meet, right, an offer here. So I want to start with the UK just because whilst it seems to perhaps be quite flexible, it's arguably almost the most complex of the systems here.